Okay, so we got the Harbor Freight surface conditioner tool here today. I just got it probably about 30 minutes ago or so. It comes with 3 drums. I put the medium drum on there. I think it's 120. I believe it's 120 grit roughly. And I'm gonna start trying to take off some of the paint off the Mustang. That's kind of the plan for today. I'm gonna see how this works. Never tried doing this before. I don't have any stripper on it. I don't have anything. But given the kind of condition and how easy this paint is flaking off in general, I think this will work. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the medium level, the 120. I think it came with like a 40, a 120, and I think a 220, 240, something like that. I'm gonna see how it works. I'm hoping this will make light work of getting the paint off, and then I can get it primed. So some things about this is it is a heavy tool. Weighs quite a couple pounds. You're definitely gonna need both hands for it. It does have multiple speeds on this dial here, kind of just like a regular palm sander, 6 speeds. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty easy looking. One thing of note that threw me off for a second putting it together is with this bolt right here to hold the drum on is reverse thread, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, so this is a little before. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a time lapse, and we're gonna see what kind of damage this thing does. So here's the progress after about 2.5 to 3 hours of sanding with that drum sander from Harbor Freight. I used 2 drums, one 120 grit and one 40 grit. Not 140, 140 grit. Yeah, probably about 2.5 to 3 hours. Got basically half the roof. It'd be kind of hard to see, it's a little late, but you can see the blue over there. Obviously I didn't do the door. Pretty much got the whole quarter panel. Does leave a very minimal scratches, but they're like superficial. Like you can't feel anything. They're flat. Even with the 40, you can't feel anything anywhere. And I went ahead and got the fender too. So I would say, I'm pretty happy. Not perfect, but a lot of progress made in a short amount of time for the money. I spent $180 on the tool and 1 extra drum, and then I bought a couple other little things. So I think it's about $150 for the tool at the time of making this video, which is September 2023. So pretty happy with that, especially from going from this to the pretty much strip down the bare metal. I do need to go back and hand sand a whole bunch, especially this quarter panel, which I'm not going to do because I don't know how to repair that. I got to take off the emblems to the Mustang, then I have to take off the front bumper and get down in there, and then just the headlight bucket or extension. I don't remember exactly what that's called. I didn't do the cowl because I'm replacing it. Also didn't do the doors or the hood or the trunk. This trunk is already primered. Bought it that way on Facebook. Yeah, so really happy with it. Actually very smooth. I don't think it's so abrasive to where it's gonna cut through any of the body lines or anything. And if you leave it for a second or two, it's really not that big of a deal. When I originally was looking at purchasing this, I saw online people were worried about the heat. It definitely adds heat. However, if you're moving and you're not just sitting on there for probably 30 seconds to a minute, I mean, it's fine. So like one of the things I did, I'll use a fender for example, because you have, you know, a couple different body lines. You got the body line right here, so you got to get it from this side and the bottom side. Same with this body line. So really you do about 4 different spots. So kind of what I would do is kind of start the flat section away, move over, back up to one, down, up to one. I just kind of use body lines as a guide. So just keep it moving, like focus up here for a little bit, you know, maybe move the other side body line all the way down and then back up over. And that seemed to really help. Pressing down, you're able to actually get pretty close, especially in all this metal here where the little fender flare is. I mean, the fact that you get that big machine in there was pretty freaking cool. I noticed that if you pulled the machine, it seems to do a little bit better. And then if you went sideways, so the drum is like this, if you went sideways, it really kicked butt. Otherwise, you did have to hold it there for a minute and kind of hold it. After using it for about 2.5 hours, I'm super happy with it. My hands are still shaking a little bit. But overall, I'm gonna get a little bit video of it tomorrow. It is nice to see that in general, the Mustang actually has really good metal. There's definitely some stuff I didn't notice. I have a wave in this fender right here. You can feel it dip right there. I have another one somewhere in this body line, yeah. Right here is another dip. Thought there was one more in this body line. Got a big, pretty deep dent right there. Other than that, not bad. Same with the quarter panel. I knew that this quarter panel was pretty freaking good. In general, it is. Looks like there's quite a bit of Bondo right here. So something happened right here. I'm assuming. I could sand it down more, but you know, something fizzle off. And then same kind of down here in the lower portion. It feels like metal, but a little wavy, but that could just be from the crunch from a little incident that I had where the sail panel and the quarter panel come together. You can see it's actually it's like brazed or whatever. It's got a couple welds still in there, which is kind of neat to see, but I mean, it all seems really solid. Roof, a little rough overall. See, there's a ton of little pits that were definitely filled. Big dent right here. And there's another one, I thought. Really right here is a big one. Almost like something fell and just went right there. Something, I mean, it's a very small dip. And then all up through here, I mean, you can just feel waves for days. I mean, this is super high compared to the metal, it's super low. I mean, this roof is, I mean, it seems to be pretty littered with Bondo, or just didn't sand it down enough, but compared to everything else, not great. The roof does have a big dent, little chunker right here, and another one up here in the front, which, yeah, you can actually see that one. I don't know how to repair that, and I'm gonna leave that up to the professionals. And you can kind of see side by side. I'm gonna get a better shot tomorrow. I did go through some of the primed trunk, and it looks like it's all good metal. So happy about that. This is an original that somebody was a takeoff off a car that was gonna get repainted. Somebody saw on Facebook. Shout out to you, Steve, if you watch these. And then I do think these quarters potentially have been done before. They feel really nice, really smooth, and in fact we don't have any Bondo, but it's almost like you can feel right around in this area, just a little bit of a difference in the metal. I mean, super slight. Not anywhere down here, but right around in this area. Right here, you can kind of feel it just a little bit. But I didn't see anything. Any Bondo, any weld marks or anything there, so I'm not entirely sure. It could just, over time, got a little bent up. But super happy. I do plan on calling the body shop company tomorrow that I plan on working with. Or at least getting in touch with them to set up a time for them to come check out the car. My plan is to sand it completely down, and pretty much at that point I'm just going to turn it over to them. Where I want them to do the rear panel here, the cowl, and pretty much all of the remaining body work. You know, the priming, block sanding, and painting. I got about 60 days left on this car before we get married, and it's our getaway car, so I'm hoping that they are able to get to it. I really did want to prime it myself with some Eastwood primer, but it might be good for them to see the car as is in metal. But I'm going to reach out and see if that makes a huge difference or not. We don't have rain in the forecast. It's going to be nearly 100 every day, so I'm not too worried about water or anything, as if I leave this for a day or two. If they can't get here for a week, I'm going to ask them, you know, what they would recommend. If they want me to go ahead and primer it, or if they want to see it down to bare metal. My thought process is, if they can spray primer on it, see everything, go through it and get it how they want it, and it's going to be a better result, and if it's not going to be that much more money, then I would rather do that. I did want to be part of the sanding process though, and really get it to that point, but realistically, with only about 60-ish days left before my wedding, I need to probably turn it over to the professionals. I can't do the quarter. I have a quarter patch, and it's just junk, so I want them to do that. I want them to go in and kind of fix some of these rust repair this drip rail. Got a couple of their little spots, but really not bad. Tomorrow when I get in the lighting, I'll get another little video, and then I will probably just leave it at that for this one. Blue is overrated anyway. I think an all chrome car would be kind of cool. Looks like a Hot Wheel. I gotta finish really getting the sander out tomorrow and getting it all done, and then getting the other side, but not bad. All right, you can really see the paint coming off this guy. Actually went much better than I thought, so I'm gonna get going on the other side. We actually ended up getting rain too, of course, so yeah, I think this is gonna be getting going on this one. I'm just gonna let it sit. You're probably not gonna time lapse sitting and taking off the paint, but yeah, we're gonna keep working on this side now, and then we'll move on to primer in the car after I get more of the paint off. All right, so it's been about 3 days of sanding relentlessly. Just took off the mirror, the door handle, the lock sets. Gotta finish just sanding that all off. Looking pretty good overall. Leaving this door until I'm ready. Same with the hood. Plan is tonight is to get this sanded down. Then I gotta use Eastwood finish weld to help get rid of all the rust and everything. Eastwood pre, and then I'm gonna use some OptiFlow coat on this guy. So instead of boring everybody watching me sand, I will get going here, a little bit of an update once I get some primer on it. I would love to work on some of the little dents here and there, but I need to get primer on this thing with the rain and everything. So I'm using epoxy primer, and I'll show that here once I get it going on. Okay, so I got the car all sanded down using the Harbor Freight drum sander. So I went through with the 40, got all the paint off, cleaned it off a whole bunch, and then I just went back in with the 120. Unfortunately, because I am working outside, I do need to treat this just in case of any rust. So the guys over at Eastwood told me to use Afterweld because it preps metal and it etches with, I can't remember the acid, I think like phosphoric acid, something, I don't remember. But you use this, what that does is it cleans and it actually gets it, penetrates down to the metal, pulls out any rust, wipe it down, and should eliminate that. And then after that, we're going to use some pre-painting prep, which it just lasts a little bit to clean anything. Especially working out here, figured I might as well do everything I possibly can. And then after that, I will be using an epoxy OptiFlow primer. So we're going to get to it.